Hey guys, I have a bunch of new things from Wet n Wild. Some are absolute hits and some are, I don't know. If you're interested in seeing what I got to try out for you, let's get into it. Like, don't even slow down. So let's get this hair off my face. I don't know what kind of witchcraft some people have when they don't pull their hair off their face for makeup application, but I'm not the one. First thing I want to show you that's new from Wet n Wild is this cooling Hydra depuffer for eyes and face. This little bit of magic is so nice and cooling for under eyes. I'm not sure if it actually does anything, but it feels good. I would say that I haven't really noticed any kind of major difference in my under eyes from using something like this, but it's an enjoyable first step. So I have been doing that. Now, this niacinamide foundation that they put out, it is the Wet n Wild Bare Focus Niacinamide Skin Tint 5% niacinamide. I have been kind of in a foundation rut lately and was starting to flirt around with the idea of getting a couple of new high-end ones to try, because I needed a color match. And I cannot tell you how good this stuff is. I can't tell you, but I can show you. So let's do that. Got a dropper, which I'm not a huge fan of. I just kind of go along the edges to have it be less messy. Yes, I'm doing this, and I made fun of doing this in the last video. To make sure I'm getting all of the good stuff out of it, I just wipe it on. It's only going on my skin, so I'm not worried about sanitary issues. It is nicely buildable. I'm going in with a wet Real Technique sponge for my application. And I'm gonna do probably 2 layers of this because I want you to see how buildable it is. And I only go over it with a second layer in areas that need more coverage because like my redness is coming through. It feels hydrating on the skin, lightweight, beautiful finish. And I love the fact that you can get something so good at the drugstore. That's one coat. So that's one layer, and I have a nice natural finish and would very easily go out the door like this. So let me start adding a little bit to the redness areas on my nose, the rosacea on my cheeks, a little on my chin, and the rest I'll touch up with concealer. But look how nicely this layers over itself, and it doesn't look cakey. Okay, so I'm gonna stop because the more I just keep going over, I'm actually starting to remove some of it, but it feels so nice going on. I just really enjoy the application of it. I'm going in with a little concealer. This is just to keep it drugstore. NYX can't stop, won't stop, because I don't have a Wet n Wild concealer. So this is the one I like the most. I promise you there's more Wet n Wild coming up. That's all I'm doing. Just a little bit in the inner corner. Did I tell you that I started wearing contacts? I've always had really good vision, and somehow in like, I don't know, my 30s, I think it was, obviously aging starts catching up with you, and I started to need readers occasionally. Well, that has graduated pretty rapidly over the last couple of years into wearing my readers on a more regular basis. Anyway, I have a different prescription in this eye than I do in this eye, and I also need bifocals. To be able to wear a contact that is a bifocal is something that I did not think I was gonna be able to do, namely because people who wear contacts told me I wasn't gonna be able to do it, and an eye doctor told me I wasn't gonna be able to do it. So I went to a new eye doctor, and I'm going in now just to set this with the Wet n Wild Photo Focus. This is the translucent setting powder. I like this. I'm just gonna take my brush and dab around in here a little bit. I needed a new setting powder just because mine were pretty old and I just wanted to try something different. I don't do a lot with it other than go over where I'm going to be applying other powder products. Is that my whole face? It might be. It does a nice job of setting. I wouldn't say that it's my favorite, but it's the first time I think I've used a setting powder like this, any kind of powder, face powder product from Wet n Wild. So I like it. It does the job. If I'm going for a simple basic look, I don't need to worry about it adding coverage or conflicting with other products that I have. All right, so for bronzer, I'm gonna go in with this Essence contouring palette. This one is really good. This is for the shade 10 for lighter skin. And if you need something from the drugstore level, I think this I'm gonna go on a limb and say it was less than $5, and it's really good. Keeping it drugstore, let's go in with a little of that. I'm gonna use the e.l.f. Flawless Face brush. I don't know why I even mentioned what brush I'm using because I'm not your brush person. I just like to lay it down first on both sides of my face and then kind of go in. That way I'm getting rid of most of the product and then go in after the fact and blur it out a little. And it's easy to layer over itself if you find you need a little bit more, or you want a little bit darker shading. Then I'm going back in with that translucent, and I'm taking just the tiniest bit and very lightly going over that. Give it a little bit more of a natural finish. Okay, so now you might think that you can't really go in with a cream or liquid highlighter over powder, but I'm doing it anyway. I fell in love with this Wet n Wild Mega Glow Vitamin E Makeup Stick Highlight version. This is in the shade When the Nude Strikes, and it is so pretty. Just a real simple, shimmery, kind of a champagne-y, creamy finish. It's so pretty. I'm gonna go in with just a light touch. Now you can go right on wherever you want to apply your highlight. And if you're worried about going in over powder product with something like this, then you can kind of diffuse it even more by applying it on the top of your hand and tapping it in with your fingertips. Now I'm going to do my blush over the top of that because it gives kind of a nice glow from within. And here's one product so far from them with their new stuff that I have been playing with lately that I'm not a huge fan on. Is it their problem or mine? It's mine. I picked the wrong color. So this is the blush. It is the Wet n Wild Color Icon blush, and I got it in the shade Nude Brown. And do you know, it's almost a little bit too brown for me. I was hoping for kind of the almost brownish finish from Buxom. This is the Wanderlust collection, and I'm getting very low on it, but I've already reordered. But this is, whoa, this is Seychelles, and it is the most beautiful pinky brown tone blush. It's higher end and has no business being in this video, but it's my video, so it's here. But let me show you what this one looks like going on. Clean brush here. Very powdery, so make sure you get rid of any excess. The tone of this blush almost leans a little more coral than I care for, but the brown tones in the Seychelles blush that I like so much work beautifully, and I have no problem with. So that's on me for picking the wrong color blush. It's not a bad blush, but I am gonna go in because I had to live my life with a little bit of Seychelles and go over it, just so I can get more of that pink tone. Do you see the instant difference there from this side versus this side? It just looks like I have bronzer and maybe a lighter bronzer or orangey bronzer and then my highlight. Okay, face products done. Before I start in with anything to do with eyes or brows or anything like that, I am just going to hit it with a little bit of in between setting spray. This is a trick makeup artists use to really give yourself some lasting effects, is to layer it. So like once you do your foundation, setting spray. Once you do your bronzer and blush and highlight, finishing powder, setting spray. Just a couple of layers of it supposedly really makes a big difference. I don't know that it makes all that big a difference, but here we are. I'm gonna go in and clean off my brows with the Q-tip. Make sure I don't have any product in there jacking up the potential of the actual brow product. Now, the one that I've gotten from Wet n Wild that I've been using off and on lately is the Brow Sessive, and I believe mine is in, is this a taupe? It is taupe. This isn't bad, but it doesn't give me, see, it's got the spoolie on the one end. It doesn't give me the full-on individual hairs effect that I was hoping it would. So I'll still go in with another product in addition to this just to kind of fine tune. I feel like this could be a little bit creamier of a formula in the pencil itself, and the application might be a little bit better processed, but this is kind of where we're at with one done and one not done, so you can see a comparison. Distributing the product with the spoolie, so obviously with and without. I'm gonna go in on this side as well, do the same thing, and then I'll show you what I'm gonna do with the other product. So anyway, I was talking about my contacts. So the eye doctors before were basically like, it's never gonna work for you. You're at this point in your 40s and you haven't even tried it yet. The chances of you being successful with them are not very good. And I just kind of decided they must be right because they're the eye doctors. I went to a new eye doctor recently and told them my issues with it and why I really wanted to consider trying them, and they agreed to try starting with a single vision lens first, so to correct my distance vision, and I love it. I really do. It is such a big change for me. Just even being able to see better driving down the road, the convenience of not having to take readers on and off and on and off and on and off. You don't realize what a pain in the butt that is until you're not doing it anymore. Okay, so there's both brows done with just the brow obsessive. Not bad. Would be willing to leave the house like this, but not my favorite. My favorite is having a little bit more of a defined eyebrow hair-like look. So I'm gonna go in with another no-fail drugstore product. This is the NYX Lift and Snatch. Phenomenal, phenomenal. Always in my arsenal. I love it so much. I didn't like it at first when I first saw it in the stores. This is the shade Taupe. And then I'm just gonna go in on top of the brow obsessive and just make a couple little hairs. Maybelline put one of these out recently, and I must tell you, like, I already spoke about it in a different video about how much I was enjoying it, but I don't think it's a very consistent product at this point because I only used it for like a couple of times and it's already not as good as the first time when I first opened the package. So I'm disappointed in that, but also this is a NYX product and it's not very expensive. I think it's like $10 or $11. And this one has been, this particular tube, is that right? Pen? This particular pen has been around for months and it's still going pretty strong. Now I'm going in with just a clean spoolie. I find that this helps disperse a brow pen formula through the brows really nicely. That is definitely more along the lines of my comfort zone of what I usually do with my brows. And I'm just gonna set my brows with the Wet n Wild Mega Clear, just a clear mascara, and go in there and lay that stuff down for the day so they do not have a chance to ruin my life later. And that's it. That's almost it. That's it. It's not even. That's on me, not on the product. I'm gonna go in and fix this real quick and make this one just a little bit narrower. Plain spoolie. I think I ordered these off of Amazon, or they might be from the ones I got from Sally Beauty Supply. I've ordered from both, but you get like a 10 or 20 pack and they're so great to have for a couple of different things on hand, but this is my favorite use of them. Another thing that I will use them for is if you get pink eye, single-use mascara. You put it in the tube, it's clean, it's new, not contaminated, and then you apply it on your eyes and you throw it out. You get enough on there the one time that you put it in the tube and apply, as if it matters if you're wearing mascara or not. When you have pink eye, it doesn't. You still want to go through your life and do your thing, and that's what I've found to be a really good way to at least get a little something on my eyes to take away from the demon redness. Okay. I'm just hitting a little bit of that blush up on my forehead. This one isn't necessarily new from Wet n Wild, but it is such a winner and I will never not have it. And this is the Always Naked palette. It is just such a great, versatile palette. So many good, solid, regular, everyday shades. You can do a very ornate, beautiful look if you want, or you can just keep it really simple, which is what I'm gonna do. I'm sure you've seen this palette before, so I'm just gonna put a little bit of shadow on here and speed it up through this process. Okay, so I'm going to bring one of these shimmery shades onto the lid and trying to decide which one that, I think I know which one I want to use, but let's use this as an opportunity to swatch these so you can see the difference. Okay. Shimmer, 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 shimmer. Ridiculous, like glitter. This is the different shimmers that you have to work with, and they are really pretty, but I cannot with that glitter. It's Fallout City, and I'm sure if I used like a glitter glue, then that would make a big difference. But you know what? I'm just not doing that. This is the one I'm thinking of leaning towards today because it's a little more subtle, and that one is this one right here. Taking a little of that on my fingertip and just dabbing it all over my eyelid, even over the darker outer corner. And then I'm going to go in with that brush that I applied the darker shadow with and just kind of tap that corner to refresh the darker tone. I'm not even adding any more shadow on there. I'm just using the product that's left on the brush. Now I'm taking a clean, large, floofy brush and going, floofy. That's what I call my Norwegian forest cat because she is so floofy. I'm just going in with this large one over the darker areas and gently diffusing the color out a little bit more. Now, let me take a little bit of the niacinamide foundation. I'm cleaning up the edge here. You could do this with concealer too, but the concealer is going to be a more noticeable difference. I'm taking that flat edge, and once it's been kind of spread out with the point, flat edge makes a nice defined. What is going on there? Is that a shadow? Am I having a stroke? I guess it's just showing up in this mirror. Something's happening. I'm sure it'll be fine. All right, gonna go in with this side, right up the edge. And this is just cleaning up any little bit of eyeshadow that went out farther than it needed to. It just cleans up your edges so nicely. Wet n Wild has this breakup proof liquid liner. I think I've had this before in black, which was also my bad because I'm not a huge black liner fan, but when they came out with it in brown, I had to try it because this sort of felt tip business, that is my favorite. I do have their Wet n Wild retractable gel pencil. Let's compare. That's brown too, isn't it? Let's, oh, she's so covered in shimmer. This is the new felt tip one that I prefer, and yet this was their breakup proof gel liner one. Very similar in shades. It really just, I think, comes down to what kind of application style you prefer. I really like this because I can get such a nice fine line. I can't talk and do this at the same time. You know when your eyeball involuntarily moves around under there and you have to go through and make the line thicker on the other side because you jacked it up? That's where we're at. The dog is starting to growl, which means the refrigerator repair person is probably here, and this is about to get weird. Oh, I need to fix that. Okay, I'm going in with one of my pointed Q-tips that I told you about in another video, dabbing it in a little bit of micellar water and going in here just to real fine-tunely correct thickness where it shouldn't be. And I'm taking the dry end, dabbing away the wetness from the micellar. I fucked this up. This is funny. It's like me showing you how great a product is and then I completely screw up the application and it doesn't look so great. If you hear talking in the background, it's my husband and the refrigerator repair guy. Our ice maker, you know, where it shoots out ice out the front, has been leaking. Okay, so the felt tip one, I can tell you, comes off easier than this one does. So if you want something that's truly long lasting, maybe this is the formula. The gel one is the one to go with for you. But if you want that real specific, precise, sharp application, this beauty is your go-to. Mascara. Wow. Okay, so Wet n Wild came out with this new one called So Defined. It's volumizing and defining. There we go, So Defined. First of all, really appreciate the 80s feel with the styling, the packaging. This stuff is so good. This is the mascara that you can put on and go out the door with nothing else on and you are like chic. That's it. That's the only way I can describe you. My gosh, look at how chic you look. Now here, it's kind of a weird shape to the wand and it does bring a lot of product out on the wand. So I just scrape off the edges. You can wipe it off on a tissue if you need to do that. I would recommend actually a paper towel. There's less little like dust particle things sticking to it. The third or fourth time I used this, I noticed it had a bit of a clumping in one area, but I think that was because I had too much product still on the wand. And I just got it like really close to my lash line, like the base of my lashes, and got some on my lid, which I'll clean up easily with my pointed Q-tip. I'm going in with the lash comb. First couple of times I used this, I did not have to do that. Now I'm finding that I have to, but that's okay. It's not a deal breaker. I do that on the regular with my mascaras anyway. I guess it's going to be a bottom lash mascara day today. I don't usually do that, but I've made enough of a mess. It's going to have to be. Back in with that lash comb. Gosh, I really hope this isn't completely ruined because of them in the background. A couple of guys looking at an appliance, grunting. Can you see? They're full, they're separated, they're beautiful. And I think they only had, I need to look at the shade on this. I think they only had black, or did they have black brown? Nope, this is black. It's the only shade they had. Hopefully they come out with a brown in that because I just prefer it. I feel like the black is just a little too severe when really at the end of the day, it probably doesn't matter. You don't notice that much of a difference, but okay. So the other thing that I got new from them is actually 2 different lip products. And I'm kind of, I'm kind of meh on both of them, but I think that's because of the shade. So the first one I picked up, this is the Wet n Wild High Shine Brilliance, and this is in the shade Glows Off. So this is supposed to be just a high shine lipstick. Here we go with a little bit of what that looks like for a swatch. I'll show you what that looks like on. It feels kind of 80s frosted to me. I'm not sure I like it. Maybe I'll like it better if I let my hair down. No. So I don't think it's the lipstick though. I think it's just the color that I chose. It feels a little dated and a little frosted. Oh, let me show you what else I got. This is what really intrigued me. I saw Emily Noel talking about this. It's the Wet n Wild Blur Soft Blur Matte Lipstick. Mine is in the shade I'm Shy. So up against the other one I already showed you. Let me show you this one. Oh my gosh, they're remarkably similar. No wonder I don't really care for either of them shade-wise. It definitely goes on matte, but it's not an uncomfortable matte. I, however, think instead of that soft blur effect that they're going for, I think it just looks like you need to touch up your lipstick. So not a huge fan of either of these. It's not necessarily that it's a bad product or the formula is wrong. I think the colors I picked are wrong. And I might be willing to pick up a different color and try. Probably of the Shine one though, more so than that matte blur lipstick, just because this up close and in person just looks to me like you need to touch up. No. However, I have this Wet n Wild gloss. This is from the Mega Slicks collection. I can't really see the shade on here, but I'll put it somewhere up here so that you can read it. I'm going to go over this with this, like this reddish matte with this shimmery gold. What could possibly go wrong? No. However, it's doable. I can make this work for the day. I'm going to hit just a little bit more of the Focus Translucent Setting Powder up. Whoa. It has a lot in the lid. Dump that in there. Just want the tiniest little bit. Just going in with my big old powder brush. Shaking even more of it off. Yeah, that looks nice. You know, the thing is as I'm getting ready here and trying different products and using different things throughout the day, I have to remember that nobody is seeing me as close up as I see myself in my application mirrors and this kind of lighting that I'm using in this room, this sort of intense 3 different lights coming at me. Nobody's going to look at my skin under those conditions except me. Now, that does translate into, I should probably not worry about it so much, but then also it just feeds my perfectionist fire. And with that being the case, I should probably be a little more open to trying things more often, but I'm very guilty of like 1 or 2 times if I absolutely don't like you, we're done. I'm gonna go in with that Milani Make It Last because I don't have a setting spray from Wet n Wild that's really jumped out to me. This is kind of a nice in-between formula for dewy finish and a matte finish. It's just like basically normal. It's normal. It should say for a normal face, but it just says original. Okay, so yeah, so that's it, guys. I hope that you liked this video. I just realized that I'm not wearing earrings throughout the entire thing. That's disturbing. And if you're interested in trying any of these products from Wet n Wild, the specific ones that I really would recommend that I love the most are the mascara. Definitely this foundation. It is probably my favorite out of everything that I've tried from them. And then with their new Mega Glow Sticks, the highlight one, and this When the Nude Strikes, this one is so pretty. It's such a beautiful, subtle, natural highlight. Those are my top 3 things that I would recommend from this video today. If you enjoyed this, please stick around, hit subscribe, and tell me down below what your favorite thing from Wet n Wild over the years has ever been. And if you've tried any of these new products, I'd love to hear your opinion on them. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.